foundation Headspace says parents, especially fathers, can make a huge difference to their son's happiness. Here's Jason Trethowan, who's the CEO of Headspace. Thanks so much for coming in, Jason.
Thanks, Roz.
Why are young men so affected in particular by mental health issues?
Well, young men are particularly affected because over generations we've demonstrated as blokes, actually, we choose not to seek help when we need to, and so therefore delaying in seeking help to a later age has consequences in terms of the health and well-being as young men develop. 75% of mental health issues arise before the age of 25, which is why we're encouraging young men, boys, that if they are experiencing any difficulties mental health-wise, that it's good to talk up.
So do they suffer more than girls at the same age? And if they do, is that because girls just have a different type of support network behind them?
Girls are better help seekers. So across Australia, across our 100 Headspace centres, 39% of those are actually male, and that's backed up by our online Headspace services as well. So what we're finding is that girls are more likely to talk about their mental health issues with their friends and more likely to seek professional help.
What do you want boys to do and boys' families to do?
Yeah, it's a really good opportunity for boys to actually address generational issues, and that is that it's okay to talk about mental health. It's fine to talk about your broken arm or any other physical illness, and in the same being, it's okay to talk about if you're feeling not so well. So if you are having difficulties at school or relationship breakdowns, or perhaps even experiencing your early experiments with drugs and alcohol, that they're warning signs that you need to talk with someone about, and your father in this case is actually someone who you can trust.
Fathers because they're a role model, because they've been there before?
Well, that's interesting. Fathers as a role model, but I think what this campaign will show is that young men and boys might actually return the question and actually say to Dad, well, how are you going? And I think particularly guys in the age of 40 to 50s, and when they were growing up, they perhaps weren't open about their mental health issues as they were growing up. So I think it's an interesting conversation that will unfold across Australia.
How do you start talking about it, though, particularly with that age group?
Well, it's not easy. You can start off with some open questions about how are you going at school, how have you gone, how are you feeling about sport recently. I've noticed this, I've noticed that. But actually, settings such as in the car, when you actually can avoid eye contact, is something that Headspace clinicians have told me that would work really well. Or just going for a walk together, finding a place that the young person would be more comfortable in doing so. But don't lose sight, if the conversation doesn't go well, because dads can get things wrong for sure, over time, the more questions that you ask over time, that'll plant the seed that the young person thinks, actually, Dad's concerned, or maybe I should talk to him about it.
And if dads or families, parents are concerned, should they try and handle it themselves within the family unit, or should they bring in people like you? It might be easy to put a bit of space between the young man involved and
yeah, look, I think the first port of call is obviously a young person to find someone they're confident in talking about their particular concerns. And then it's really a partnership that evolves from there, and that would be to lead to more seeking professional help, such as a GP or through our Headspace services, so that they can actually get on top of the issues as they arise, as opposed to just holding back and waiting for years down the track where perhaps they will have suffered their own health and well-being as a consequence of that.
Parents want the best for their children. You don't want parents to feel that they're not doing enough.
Well,
for them.
often, yeah, young people hold back because they're fearful that mum and dad are going to be worried by the fact that they're not so well. In fact, what parents want is openness and honesty so that they can, help them, which is obviously what parents are there to do.
Jason, thank you.
Thanks, Roz.
TV star Bill Cosby went on trial today, accused of drugging and sexually assaulting a woman more than a decade ago.